Ooh, you in trouble. Ooh, if you wouldn't have said that, you probably wouldn't be in trouble. But you said it, and you're in trouble. You might want to get some wisdom. Mm-hmm. Everybody, today is day number 21 in our series, Get Wisdom, helping us dig and treasure or on a treasure hunt to get some wisdom out of the book of Proverbs. And today's verse is kind of a repetitive verse. And it's funny because as I thought about it, as I looked at these verses and I picked them a while back and I looked back at them and some of them are very similar. And I'm like, why did I pick some of the same similar verses? Probably because I resonated with them. I kind of identify with these verses. And the truth is, it's good to review things in different ways. I think that's why the Bible repeats itself a lot, because we don't listen the first time. We kind of hard-headed. I remember a preacher was preaching a series on lying, and it was for weeks and weeks and weeks. And one of the ladies in the church came up to him and said, "Hey, when are you going to stop preaching on this? When you stop lying?" And the idea is that, we need to get it. So this verse today kind of talks about the same thing of our tongue, our mouths, and getting ourselves in trouble. And this is what it says. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 23 says this: "Whoever keeps his mouth and his tongue keeps himself out of trouble." Proverbs chapter 21, verse 23. We've already talked about using our mouths in the wrong way and getting in trouble. There's a verse coming that we haven't covered yet that we need to guard our mouths. And the idea is that we need to be careful what we do. And I hope you remember the verse where the day I put the tape over my mouth. It's so important that we guard our mouths, that we don't just talk and talk and talk, that we keep a key in our mouths and learn to be quiet at times. Just because you think it does not mean you need to say it. Again, just because you think something does not mean you need to say it. And so we have to be very proactive in how we think and what we say, to put a guard, to put a key over our mouths. Here's a couple of the verses that we may not cover, may have covered. One of them says this, Proverbs 13, verse 3. "Whoever guards his mouth preserves his life. He who opens his mouth wide comes to ruin." Proverbs chapter 12, verse 13 says, "An evil man is ensnared by the transgression of his lips, but the righteous escape from trouble." Proverbs 14, verse 3. "By the mouths of a fool comes the rod for his back, but the lips of the wise will preserve them." And the idea is that we need to be careful what we say. There are times we need to speak. And one of the things I'm trying to practice in my own life is to know when to say something, not say something. Especially like some meetings that we have at church. And I was just talking to my the administrator pastor at our church that when we're in meetings, I could probably say something on about everything. Like every topic I could say something. Does it need to be said? No, I know that. And so I have to be careful what I say and choose to speak when I need to speak. There are times we need to speak up. There's times we do not need to speak up and not say what's on our minds. And so I've kind of adopted one of the things my father-in-law often says to his wife. He'll say to her after an event or after people are over the house, he says, "I should get credit for what I didn't say. I should get credit for what I did not say." And I kind of like that idea, I want credit for what I didn't say. I was a good boy. I want to pat myself on the back because I didn't say something that I could have said, that I wanted to say. And I want you to know that I didn't say something because I usually get myself in trouble. I usually open my mouth wide and get in trouble for saying a whole bunch of stuff that I probably shouldn't say, but it feels good in the moment, so I say it. And so I know we don't get credit for it. I even asked my wife, I don't get credit for it. But it is a sign for me that I'm growing, that I'm maturing, that I did not say something that didn't need to be said. Because I grew up as a very impulsive teenager. If I thought it, I said it. If I thought it'd be funny, I spoke it out. And some of you can relate with that. But this proverb says, if you want to keep yourself out of trouble and not hear the words I heard from my siblings, "Ooh, you in trouble," knowing I was because I couldn't keep my mouth shut. If you struggle with that like I do, listen to the Proverbs, get some wisdom, and understand. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 13. No, Proverbs 21, verse 23. "Whoever keeps his mouth and his tongue keeps himself out of trouble." If you want to keep yourselves out of trouble, sometime you got to get a key, get that tape we talked about, that duct tape, and keep your mouth closed. The key is this: to think before you speak. I know we said it a while ago in the other proverb, but it's still true. Think before you speak. And some of you need to think and think before you speak. I think James chapter 1 verse 19 says, be quick to hear and slow to speak and slow to anger as well. So put those things in practice so you will keep yourself out of trouble and get wisdom.